Hello. So I just wanted to get back to the basics again about habituating to tinnitus because that's, for a lot of people, that's where it's at. We have to recognize this conscious thought and subconscious thought connection and how the two things work together. And let me tell you, if you can get a hold of this tinnitus thing, and you will, you're going to learn a great lesson about training your brain to operate more powerfully for you and be able to do so many more things ahead. So some great times are coming for you. You're just engaged now in this great lesson of how to overcome something like this. And we're not going to overcome it by making it go away. And that's the hard thing to accept. But it is going to go away in many ways as you are able to retrain your brain. Now, let's talk about the sound you're hearing. What do you think about the sound? Do you have negative emotions about it? I think you probably do. I don't. I accept it. I have a sound, and I don't always. I can hear it best in a quiet room. It used to be a lot louder, or at least my perception of it was. But now, I have just a steady ring, and I'm going to turn the fan back on, but I just want to really hear it for a moment. And you can see, I'm okay, right? It used to be, for me, that even no matter where I was, even in a loud room, I could hear it very, very, very clearly. It was loud. Things like driving in the car, it was going, even, the sound of the car didn't muffle it. And I carried around this laptop computer that I have all the time and played a sound that was similar to it. I think that can be very helpful to find a sound that's similar to it and play that, because your brain is going to sort of disconnect the thing that's inside your head with what's outside, and you'll hear that outside noise. And I don't think there's any rule that you need to like you can do it all 24/7. That's fine, that'll just sort of slowly teach your brain that there's nothing to hear, because you hear the sound that's almost the same as the one inside. And you might have to do some searching around. I remember for me, I found the sound of a shower. I think shower sounds, and the video would run for 10 hours. So I would play that all the time, and then I also found I went to there's a pool near me, and there's a waterfall, and the waterfall was similar to the sound, and it was easier to tune it out. So I've heard even some things about hearing aids that can be programmed to do the sound. I never did that, but basically what one of the things we're trying to do is to not notice it and train our brain to not key into it. So having sounds that are similar or hopefully almost the same, if you can find it, that can be very helpful in training the brain to deprioritize the sound. That's one way. Now the other way takes a little longer, but we have to change what we think about the sound. I can turn off the fan and turn it back on or whatever, but for me, the background sounds for me are less important now than they used to be. And also my perception of it is a lot, less than it used to be. before I was so keyed into it and it seemed so loud, and I think it actually was louder, because I was so keyed into it. So what do you think about the sound? This is a question that I want you to think about a lot, because not just that you have the sound, but can you change what you think about the sound? This might be a little bit of a short-term to mid-term, even long-term goal. You might not be able to immediately change what you think of the sound by tomorrow, but you can change what you think about the sound in a couple weeks or a couple of months by really just focusing on, you've got to know that if you can make this sound less important to yourself, it's going to go away more. It's going to be where it might be there, but in a way it's not there because you're not paying attention to it. So it's not at all in your consciousness. So for all intents and purposes, it's not there. It'll come and go where you notice it, but it'll get where you notice it less and less, and there you go. You're habituated. Congratulations. So what do you think about the sound? I'd like you to start saying some different things than you're used to saying. It doesn't bother me anymore. It really doesn't bother me anymore. I don't care whether it goes away or not. It doesn't matter. I'm getting used to it now. I don't think about it much anymore. It's not important to me. It's actually kind of a nice sound. It's just a little ringing sound, and there's a lot of other background noises too. It's really not a big deal at all. I don't care. It's kind of a nice sound. I'm lucky to have it. You see what I'm doing there? I know you're like, are you crazy? Well, I think I've said in some other videos, I'd rather be a little stupid and happy than, so smart that I'm so great at understanding how terrible this sound is. See, that's not a very good way of thinking, there is it? So you've got to start working toward this sound not being important to you anymore. So I'll repeat some of the things I said again. I don't care about this sound. It doesn't bother me anymore. It's kind of a nice sound. And I've just got other things I'm doing. I get where I don't notice it anymore. I've got the background noise. It kind of helps. So I play that. But, to be honest, I just don't think about it that much anymore. It's just not important. It doesn't bother me. It's a nice sound. Other people have the sound. It's not a big deal to them either. They've learned to habituate to it, and I'm doing the same thing now. I'm getting better and better at just not noticing it anymore because it really doesn't do anything. And let's use a little logic here. Let's suppose you lived in an apartment near the road, and there's always sirens going by, loud noises outside, people honking their horns, and you just moved into this apartment, and it's really hard to concentrate because there are all these street sounds outside, and you see what I'm doing there? But then what happens after a while? You get used to it, and you sleep fine, and you can concentrate. You just tune out the sound. And I have to say that's in some cases, at least, these sounds are louder than your tinnitus. If you live near a street, I've got a friend, he lives near the subway in somewhere in New Jersey or New York, and whenever I call him, it seems like every time I call him, it's like, hold on, got to wait for the train to go by. And so he deals with these loud sounds all the time, right? So you definitely can learn to tune out sounds. It's a fact. It's absolutely a fact. People live in different environments and they adapt to it. And you're going to adapt to it too. But After you've lived in that apartment for a while that's by the street with the sirens and the horns and the cars and people maybe yelling outside sometimes, you know, it's just not a big deal anymore. You don't care. You live in this apartment. Maybe it's a nice apartment inside. You just have some loud sounds outside. It's the same thing. You're going to get used to it. And you get where you don't care about it anymore. So I just want to challenge you to really take this to heart. And it might take a little repetition. Actually say it. Say it. I don't care about tinnitus. I don't care about the sound. It's kind of a nice sound. Say these things. Say it over and over again until you believe it. Because imagine yourself and then imagine the person who moved into that loud apartment. I mean, really, what's the difference in terms of the sound? No difference. And they got used to it. You'll get used to it too. And I like this apartment. It's a nice apartment. Yeah, it had some loud noise outside, but I've gotten used to it now. I don't care. Yeah, I lost some sleep for a while, and it was just sometimes nerve-wracking, just even eating dinner with my family because there's all these sounds outside. But then after a while, we didn't notice it anymore. You see? So let's just get down to the basics here and accept sound as something you can adapt to. And you can learn to not care about it. And after a while, you're not even going to notice it anymore. So work on that, and you'll get it. You'll get this habituation thing, and you're going to be so excited because you conquered it, and you've learned to program your brain. You understand the process of how it works, and you can apply this to other things in your life. Yeah. So you go do it. Go do it.